Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is March 26, 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, Atletico Madrid are making moves to shield Julian Alvarez from Barcelona's interests. Also, Inter Milan meeting with Bastoni to set his price, and I'm going to tell you how much it will be. And finally, Barcelona eyeing a former Real Madrid winger. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Bob. I'm still away from home, away from my studio. This is why I'm doing this short live to bring you the news while I'm away, since I cannot film, edit, and post. This is not a podcast. I won't be reacting to the comments live. This is just, again, a short live to bring you the news while I'm away. This is my final night in the city of London. My first time in London. I absolutely loved it. Beautiful, beautiful city. Tomorrow I'm off to Scotland. And then after that, of course, Monday I will be back home. So Monday it's back to the podcast and your regularly scheduled videos. All right, let's dive right into the news, because we do have great news in regards to FC Barcelona as a club. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have surpassed the 150,000 socios. That's a huge, huge number. As you know, Barcelona are a club, one of the few clubs around the world that's owned by its own members or own socios. And Barcelona now have 150,077 socios. That's 150,000 people and 150,077 people that own a part of the club. And of course, this is a huge jump from last year, because last June, which is, I guess, less than a year, it's more of 9 months or 10 months, no, 9 months. But last June, we had 142,354 socios. In a matter of 9 months, we've added 8,000 more socios. That is absolutely huge, and just goes to show that the FC Barcelona brand is alive and well. But not only that, that it's a brand that continues to grow despite the difficult situation we're currently going through. Also, of course, this means more money, right? Socios, we have to pay a yearly membership. More socios, more money every year. Now, speaking of money, we do have an update in regards to Barcelona's finances, because now the board are expecting or forecasting a revenue of 1,075 million euros at the end of this fiscal year. And that's all thanks to how well the team is doing, and also sponsorship deals, and of course the return to the Camp Nou. But mostly how well the team is doing, because the team is doing well, ticket sales to the stadium fly through the roof because people want to see a winning team. Merchandising increases because people want to buy Barcelona merchandise when their team is doing well. TV rights, right? More money because more people are watching your games. If you make it further through competitions, that's money for winning prizes. That's money going through competitions like the Champions League, for example. We just made it to the quarterfinal, so we earned another bonus, 100 million euros just in the Champions League alone. And then, of course, there are these sponsorship deals, which are also tied indirectly to the performance of the team, because, of course, no company wants to sponsor a team that's losing, right? So that's why Barcelona are currently forecasting a revenue of 1,075 million euros. Of course, the end of the fiscal year will be on June 30th. That's when we will have the official numbers, because right now this is just a forecast. Now, speaking of the summer, because that's when the fiscal year will end, of course, we do have to talk about the summer transfer market. As I told you before, Barcelona have two priorities: the center forward and the center back position. The center forward is, of course, Julian Alvarez. That's who Barcelona want as their priority target, and as center back, of course, is Alessandro Bastoni. But speaking of Julian Alvarez, the reporter Fernando Polo, someone who's very well connected to the club, has reported that Barcelona have budgeted 100 million euros for the signing of Julian. That would include fixed and variables. That's kind of like the ceiling. That's how much, the maximum that Barcelona would be willing to spend on the signing of Julian Alvarez. Again, 100 million euros. And of course, as I told you yesterday, Barcelona believed that they could sign him for around 80 million. I don't know how realistic that is, but Barcelona think they can sign Julian for 80, but they have budgeted a total of 100 million euros. Now, of course, for now, as I told you before, Barcelona will be waiting for Julian to make the first move. They know he's not happy at Atletico Madrid. They know he wants to come to Barca, so they want him to make an announcement that he wants to go to Barca. And if he does that, Barcelona believes that they can negotiate his transfer, because then Atletico Madrid will be forced. They will have no choice. Hey, our guy wants to leave. Well, we got to sit down and negotiate. Now, speaking of Atletico Madrid and Julian Alvarez, the Madrid-based club has already started making moves to shield Julian from Barcelona's interest and from other clubs' interest, including Arsenal, because now they want to make him a contract renewal offer. Even though Julian's contract expires in 2030, they want to give him an improved contract and make him one of the highest earners on the squad. Now, Julian Alvarez currently earns 7 million euros net. That's 14 million gross. And Atletico Madrid want to make it 10 million euros net, or 20 million euros gross per season. Again, making Julian one of the highest paid players on their squad, and also extending his contract by another season or two, so until 2031 or 2032, to make it very clear to Julian that he is their long-term bet. Now, we're going to see whether this will convince Julian to stay at Atletico Madrid, or whether he will say, no, I still want to leave, because for now, Julian is not happy. I don't know who's advising Julian, but it was a very dumb move to go to Atletico Madrid. It was a very dumb move renewing with Man City back when he was there, because of course it was going to be Haaland the starting 9. But anyways, whoever's advising Julian, get your act together, or Julian, just fire him and hire someone else. Now, my question to you is, 100 million euros, too much, too little? Well, I think it's too much. But you guys let me know in the comment section. And then, of course, do you think also Atletico Madrid's contract renewal offer to Julian will work? Or do you think Julian will snub them and still look to leave come this summer? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's talk about the other priority of Barcelona for the summer transfer market. Of course, Alessandro Bastoni, the Inter Milan center back, who's Deco's #1 option to reinforce the center back position. Someone at Inter Milan were not willing to offload, but now they have changed their mind. They are willing to sell him this summer transfer market. And it's reported that the Italian club has sat down and met with Bastoni's agent to see, hey, what's going on? Are you looking to go to Barca? Are you looking to go somewhere else? And also to discuss the valuation of the player, right? Because Bastoni's agent needs to know, hey, when the clubs call him, hey, how much does Inter Milan want? Oh, actually, I don't know. Well, now they sat down and they talked about it, and it looks like Inter Milan will be wanting around 70 to 80 million euros, which, of course, to me is very, very high. Now, Mateo Moreno has reported that Barcelona think they can sign Bastoni for around 50 million euros. So that's 20 to 30 million euros less than what Inter Milan are currently valuing him. Of course, just because Inter Milan are valuing that number doesn't mean that that's what eventually they're going to end up selling him for. That's kind of like the goal. I honestly believe 50 million is okay. 70, 80 is too much for a position it's covered. I mean, would Bastoni come and make the team much better? Of course. Would the signing of Bastoni be great for the club? Of course. But to spend 80 million euros on a center back when we already have so many, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Now, let's move on to the next bit of news, because Barcelona are eyeing and tracking a former Real Madrid player who's no other than Victor Munoz. Victor Munoz is a 22-year-old winger currently plowing his trade at Osasuna. He's been absolutely impressing at Osasuna with his speed, his pace, his dribbling, his technique, so much so that he has earned himself a call-up to the Spanish national team, and in the process has caught the attention of other European clubs, including, of course, Barcelona, where the guy spent some time here. Because if you don't know, Victor Munoz did go through La Masia Academy back when he was a kid. He then, through his career, ended up at Real Madrid. I don't know if you guys remember, he missed that penalty kick against Barcelona in El Clásico, and after that, Real Madrid were like, boop, you are out. They sold him to Osasuna, and now Barcelona are eyeing Victor Munoz, who again is currently impressing in La Liga. Now, what's the problem? Well, there are several problems. First of all, Osasuna not willing to sell or negotiate for Victor Munoz. Osasuna's position is, if you want him, pay his release clause. How much is Victor Munoz's release clause? 40 million euros. The other problem, Real Madrid own 50% of the player's rights. So that also complicates things. And finally, Real Madrid do own a buyback clause in the player's contract for a period of 3 years, with the fee increasing from 8 to 10 million progressively. So Real Madrid could always just buy him back and then sell him to somewhere else. Or if they don't, we will still have to pay 40 million to Osasuna. Anyways, let's end today's video with the news that Alejandro Balde's agent, Jorge Mendes, has received inquiries from several clubs, including Manchester City, Manchester United, and Aston Villa. Now, as you know, I told you several days ago, Barcelona are now open to hearing offers for Balde. This doesn't mean that Barcelona are placing Balde on the market or that Barcelona are looking to sell Balde. He's not for sale, but if Barcelona were to receive a big offer, they would consider it. Again, this doesn't mean he's on sale, but there's three types of players. There's those who you're trying to sell. Hey, I don't want you. I want to sell you. Then there's the non-transferable players like Lamine Yamal, where not only are they not for sale, but doesn't matter what kind of offer you receive, even if someone comes 500 million, I don't care. He's non-transferable. So I'm not listening to anyone. And then there's in the middle, someone like Balde, who is not for sale. Barcelona are not looking to sell him. But if they would receive an offer, they would be like, let me think about it. But of course, the offer would have to be a very, very lucrative one. Now, ever since that news broke, several clubs have reached out to Jorge Mendes to say, hey, what's the deal? Now, we don't know about whether any specific numbers have been discussed, but just know that Man U, Man City, and Aston Villa have all called up Jorge Mendes to inquire about Balde. Now, as I told you when I broke the news that Barcelona are open for the hear offers for Balde, I think it would be an absolutely huge mistake. He's only 22 years old. We've seen what he can do. Yes, he is going through a bad form during the season, but we've seen how good he is in previous seasons. And again, he's only 22 years old. We haven't even seen the best form of Balde. He's not even has begun to enter his prime years. So I think it would be an absolute huge mistake. But of course, I want to hear what you guys think down below in the comment section. Anyways, that is all for this video. I'm going live in a few more moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarce.